here we are. This is our first YouTube officially for Blondies Beauty Salon here in Oakland Park, Florida. I am DeAnna Kahn.
I'm Kacy Grace.
And we're excited today. We're going to do a little bit of an interview style discussion with you guys. We have some questions planned, but honestly we didn't go over it too much because I didn't want this to be scripted. I really wanted it to be authentic. I wanted us to just be able to come on here and
be genuine.
Right, just really for you to get to know us and get to know who we are and why we are here, first of all. So I'm just going to give you a quick background of the salon, how we got here, and then we'll go ahead and jump into our personal interview questions that we've created for each other and that you guys have also helped us create. So a little bit about Blondies. This place has been here since, I want to say, the 1970s. It was owned previously by a hairstylist who lived in the area, who actually is on her way out of retirement right now. I purchased the business during the pandemic, so this is a pandemic baby. We got it in June of 2020, and so now we've been here for about almost 7 months now, or maybe it has been 7 months now.
She's grown a lot in the time I've been here since October, so.
Definitely. We've had a complete renovation. I think if some of you guys have been following us since the beginning of time, then you've seen on Instagram the renovation that we've done in here. We put a lot of work in here. We basically gutted the whole place and redid it. And if you haven't seen, there's actually a little feed on our page that can show you about our remodel and what we've done here. So it's been super exciting. Right now we have one stylist here who you don't really get to see that often. Her name is Sue. She's 68 years old. She does occupy one of our chairs here, but she's really low-key and cool, so if you ever come in you will get to meet her, but she just doesn't do a lot of our content stuff and work like that. But other than that, I mean, you're gonna see her when she comes in, and she's super sweet and you guys would love her.
Adore her.
So right now it's just the three of us. We are a 5-chair rental style salon, which if you don't know what that is, we'll get into that later. But we have us three right now, and we're looking to fill 2 other chairs. But we're really comfortable where we are right now. The vibes are good and we want to keep that energy going. So if you guys are interested in filling one of our chairs, you're welcome to slide into our messages and, you know, come and see the place, slide into the DMs, get to know us a little bit and see if you're a good fit, because we have something awesome going here and it's only going to get better, for sure. So I guess we could kick that off by starting, you guys heard a little bit about, how I started the place. Maybe you could give us a little information on how you found Blondies and how you ended up here.
I was scrolling through Instagram because I was just very unhappy where I was, and I just needed to move forward. I needed to progress in my career, and I came across Blondies. It was the first page I came across, and I looked for 3 days. I couldn't find anything, and then I come across Blondies, and I messaged her right away. I saw that they were hiring, and we're renting out chairs, and I was like, oh my god, I need to work here. Like, just the aesthetic of everything, I was like, I need to work here. So I messaged her, and then within an hour, she got back to me, and we made an appointment to see each other later that day, and then we just fell in love, and she showed me around, like, oh, you can put your color here, you can choose from these stations, like, you can do all this, that, and the other, and I was like, oh my god, I just need to be here.
Pretty much love it.
Literally love at first sight. The second I walked in the door.
Yeah, now she's my work wife. So
yes,
here we are.
My work wife. I'm married.
All right, awesome. That's really cool. So yeah, so we're excited. So we're brand new, but we're not brand new at the same time. We've both been in the industry for a long time. We'll definitely get into that. And the first question we have on our interview question list is actually just about our backgrounds. Where are we from? How did we get here? That kind of situation. So would you like to kick that off?
Yeah, I'll start.
Okay.
I'll start. I was born in Bradenton, Florida, adopted as a baby. Grew up in North Carolina until I was 10, upstate New York, in the middle of nowhere until I was 26, and then I decided I wanted to change my whole life, and I just moved to Florida. Now located in Fort Lauderdale, and it was the best decision I ever made. Hands down, the best decision I ever made. If you ever get stuck in your life and you feel like you need something new, just do it.
Exactly.
That's my best piece of advice for someone.
Take the plunge.
Just leap. Even if it's terrifying, just do it.
Well, that's what they say, too. They say if it doesn't scare you, then your dreams aren't big enough, which I hate to be cliche like that, but honestly, that's how,
it's terrifying.
that's how most of the awesome things in my life that have
Always
happened.
how it happens,
have happened. So I have a little bit of lip sweat, actually. We can edit that out later.
So tell us about you. What you doing here?
All right, what am I doing
background.
here? Yeah, right? What am I doing here? What the hell am I doing here? All right, cool. So a little bit about me. I'm going to be 33 this year. I'm a 80s baby, born in 88. I was actually born in Brooklyn, New York. I moved down to Tampa, Florida when I was 3 with my mom, who was going to University of South Florida in Tampa. So I grew up over there. If you guys know anything about Tampa, it's a cool city. I mean, it's definitely nice to grow up in. Definitely got the city aspect, but there's not as much going on as there is in South Florida. So, I mean, my life took a crazy turn. You know, Kacy shared with us that she was adopted. My mother almost put me up for adoption. I never met I would say my real father, but I hate saying that. But basically, my real father, I never met him. My mother left and came down to New York and basically just left him up there. I don't even think he knew I was alive or around or anything like that, but no big deal. My mother was actually an addict. She was addicted to heroin and pretty much every other drug that you could possibly think of. So my childhood wasn't typical. I definitely struggled a lot as a young person. In school, I don't think that I realized how hard of a time it was, you know, considering you're a kid and you're just kind of like surviving and
just trying to survive every day. Right.
But when I was younger, I always knew I had all these issues, and it was crazy because, like, people's parents would get divorced or something, and I would kind of, I mean, not that that's not a big deal, it's a huge deal, but for me going through these things with my mother, I kind of just felt like their problems were minimal compared to mine, which is sort of unfair to say, but also just, it was my true feeling at the time.
It's accurate.
Right, it was my true feeling at the time. So I struggled a lot. I had a very hard time in school, especially in high school. She passed when I was 14, so it was my freshman year. And I struggled a lot. I didn't really do well with my personal relationships. I sort of used, sex and, smoking pot as an outlet. And then eventually, I got into the nightclub life when I was 21 years old, and I did that for 5 years. I'll just be straight up. I worked in, like, the strip club industry for a while, which is, like, weird to say because I've never actually said that on camera in front of everybody, but I know the people that are watching this that know me will know these things anyway, so let's just put it out on the table. I don't have anything to hide at this point.
Yeah, why not?
So that's what I did for 5 years in Tampa, and it could have destroyed my life, but honestly, I learned a lot from those experiences. I think I grew a lot of self-confidence. I learned a lot about business. I learned a lot about life. I learned a lot about people, and it really brought me into this industry. And that's kind of the segue into the next question, which is what got you into this industry? I'll go ahead and answer that since I'm already on on track for that. But what got me into this industry is I was working at the clubs, and I had a friend who's a bartender, shout out to Leela, who basically looked me in my face one day and told me, like, what the hell are you going to do with your life? Like, one day you're going to wake up and you're going to realize that this is your life. Like, what are you going to do? And it kind of hit me hard because one day that's exactly what happened. I woke up and I was like, what the heck am I going to do? Like, I'm in this crazy situation. I was drinking every night, basically doing drugs all the time at this point. And I was lost. I was really lost. I was at a lost point. So I realized that, she kind of inspired me to get into the industry. I started out as a makeup artist. I was just practicing on anyone I could get my hands on, like strippers, non-strippers, friends' moms. Like, I practiced on anyone and everyone that would let me. I was really into editorial makeup. I thought I wanted to be like a celebrity makeup artist. I think every makeup artist thinks that when they first start.
Hairstylist too. You think that you want to do celebrities, and then you get into it and you're like,
this is crazy. And also,
a lot.
Right, you have to dedicate your whole life to them. Your life is basically their life now. You don't really get a say in your life because you're following them around the whole country or the whole world at this point. But anyway, I decided that I wanted to go work for MAC Cosmetics, which is what Leela was doing at the time. And she told me that I should come and apply, but I didn't feel like I was going to be taken seriously. So I decided to go to school and get my esthetician license. And it was about a 4-month program, I believe, and so I did that. I didn't commit myself to being a cosmetologist at the time because I really just needed something to get me out of the club. And then once I did that, I met an awesome friend of mine who's still a good friend and really successful hair and makeup artist herself, which is Michelle Renee. So shout out to Michelle Renee, the studio in Tampa. If you guys live there, she's amazing. She's a freaking lifesaver. She really took me on. I felt like she was like another mother figure for me. She really brought me in and she showed me the ropes and she taught me how to do wedding hair and makeup, and it really kicked off a very big start to the career for me. And so I would say that's pretty much how I got into the industry. And what about you?
I have the cutest story on how I got into this. I was always I have 2 sisters and a brother, and I was always the girliest one out of all of us. And I grew up with also my 2 nieces who are 2 and 4 years younger than me. And they all played sports. They were all very tomboyish and things like that. Well, I got into hair and makeup just as little girls do. But being one of 5, because we were all little, being one of 5, they would be playing sports and I would set up this.
It's okay.
I lost my words.
That's okay. We can pick it up.
English.
So your friends were tomboys. Your sisters were tomboys.
My sisters
were tomboys.
My sisters and my nieces were all tomboyish. I was the girliest one out of all of us. I would always have my hair in crazy styles, ponytails everywhere. I would always play in my mom's makeup. And then as I got older, I started stealing my mom's stuff to do nails, because I would take her nail polish. I would take her the little not plastic, but the little nail polish comes in a square, and they have little designs.
Right.
And you cut it off, put it in water, and then you just place it on your nail and put a clear top coat over it. So I would steal those from her all the time. She just kept buying me more. She bought me a little manicure bowl. So I had my sisters, for their sports and stuff, they would bring 2 or 3 friends over, and I would set up this little TV tray table with a towel, a little manicure bowl. I had 4 different nail polishes.
That's adorable.
I had it was little lotion. I would massage their hands, paint their nails, do the designs and everything, just with my mom's stuff that she would buy from the supermarket. And just as I got older, I kept getting more into it, and my mom suggested that I go to hair school, and I was like, so tell me more about this. And she's like, hair, skin, and nails. I was like, done, sign me up. That's what I want to do. First day, all we did was go over the course guidelines and learn a basic braid. And I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And then here I am now, 12 years later, still doing it. Almost 13. It'll be 13 in July. But that brings us, how long have you been a hairstylist? I just answered that question. So, how long have you been a hairstylist?
All right, awesome. So I actually went to school, I would say 2 years ago now. I'm losing track of time. So I actually went back to school after I got my esthetician license, and I decided to go for the cosmetology. Makeup's a tricky industry because, honestly, Florida's very seasonal. So during the summertime, we slow down a lot. And with hair, it's constantly going. Everybody needs their roots done. Everyone needs their color, their highlights. So for me, that was a way to expand what I'm already doing. I didn't want to go back to school and, be in healthcare or whatever else.
Right.
My grandfather would always suggest to me. They're always suggesting some new fancy job that I had never had interest in, which I understand. They want me to be financially stable. So the answer to the hairdresser question is I've been a hairstylist for a couple years now, but I have been in the industry for about 10 years doing makeup, styling, all that as well. And on the contrary of Kacy, I was not really girly at all growing up. I think that there were... I was probably more of the tomboy. Also because I grew up with my stepdad, who is my dad. He's not really my stepdad, but he's my dad. But he grew up with me just being such a boy. So I grew up just being a total dude.
I love it.
you know, I would do maybe like the pull-through cap or something when
no.
I was younger, and like try to give myself highlights and turn my hair orange or something like that. So I was always kind of interested in it, but I never really felt like I had any real talent. And I also, because of everything going on as like in a child's mind at that age, in my mind, like I just wasn't in the mental space to even think about like what I wanted to do for the future, or that this was even an option for me to be in this industry. I just never pictured myself here. So a lot of the stories that I hear are very similar to yours in the way that like it's kind of like a makeup artist will say too, like ever since I could hold a makeup brush, I've been wanting to be a makeup artist.
It's like so funny to say that. Like I never thought I would. It's funny because I always thought I was more tomboyish than I really was.
Right.
And I was by far the girliest one. So
yeah, see, like I still love to like get dirty and stuff like that, but I'm definitely a little more girly now than I was before, I think. But it's cool. I mean, you never know where life's gonna take you, and I think that's a good point here. Like I think that if you might not have your passion or your thing when you're younger, but like don't worry, because you will find it when you get older, regardless of your age. Like I do believe that you will find it at some point.
Some people don't find their passion until they're, you know, well into their 40s and 50s. So
Listen,
don't beat yourself up over it.
It's true. I mean, I know, like, my dad personally, he went back and got his master's when he was, like, in his 50s. So, you know, you just never know. You never know where life's going to take you. I think you got to be open. And like we said earlier, you got to be ready to take risks.
Yeah, my mom, actually, she was a social worker when I was growing up. And then as I was growing up, she not only was a social worker, but she put herself through college again to be a low vision therapist. And I think that that's absolutely phenomenal. Raising 3 kids with your husband on a farm, like putting yourself through school again when you already have a career has got to be hard. Like I commend people for that. And then we moved and she's been doing it ever since. She actually just retired.
Right.
I was like, that's incredible.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. That's a super rewarding career.
She's wonderful.
So let's talk a little bit about booth rent versus commission. Some people don't know the difference. You might not really need to know the difference, but there is a big difference. And I would say we are a booth rent salon. We don't do commission. So a lot of hairstylists or a lot of hair salons that do commission, basically they hire stylists as their employees. So all the stylists work for them.
Right.
And some people do like 50%. It just depends on where you work, but usually it's split like 50-50 because the owner is buying products and doing the marketing and bringing you clients. So you get the clients and you get to keep like half, that kind of situation. I decided to do it a little bit differently here because I honestly didn't want to be anyone's boss. I don't want to have to boss anyone around or tell anybody what to do. I just wanted to bring good people in and we just have a good vibe. Also, I do a lot of, and we'll get into this as well, but I do a lot of like freelance on-call work, so I'm not always in the salon, so I can't constantly be here to like pay attention to what everybody's doing and if they're doing it right. And I really didn't want to do that. That wasn't my approach. Booth rent is totally different. Booth rent is basically like you rent a chair in a salon. You pay a weekly or monthly or however you guys work it out rate.
Right.
And then the stylist gets to be in charge of their own clients. They book all their own appointments. They take all their own money. There's no other additional charges except for the rent that they pay. So I would say that that's the benefit of that. This is my first salon. I will say that. I did work in a salon previously. I realized that I'm just not good with working for people. So I think that that's where the conflict of interest was for me. I just wasn't interested in like being somewhere at a certain time because someone told me. Like I would rather do that because my clients need me. And I was just so used to at that point. By the time I got the salon or even worked at the salon job before this one, I was there for about a year, and I just realized I like my freedom. I like to be able to come and go as I please, so I really just needed to create this path for myself, which honestly, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I wouldn't have done, because I'll let you guys in on a little secret. I had a total other plan to do something else, and then when the pandemic hit, it's just the way that life worked out. I just met the previous owner here and then we just worked out a deal and I ended up moving into this place and now it's like this magical little space that we have right now. Do you want to add anything to the booth rent? I mean, what's the benefit for you?
I'll say as a hairstylist that's been in the industry a little bit, I find, commission is nice, but like when you have to split everything that you're making, it feels, sometimes it can be overwhelming. You're like, I'm making all this money, but like I have to give away half of my earnings. Whereas like with booth rent, when you have a set amount, you get to keep everything else. Like, yes, you have to reimburse your product, you have to reimburse your, all the things that you use, but it's vastly more rewarding to have the time and to have the, you're your own boss. It's so much more rewarding to like make yourself money rather than making somebody else money. That's I love
that. And that's what I was going to ask you, like, what are the pros and cons to each? And it sounds like that's the biggest thing. It's like, yeah, it's a con that you have to like constantly monitor your inventory, and you have to handle your own business, and you need your own insurance, and you need all these other things, but at the same time you're working for yourself. You don't have to answer to anyone else, and if you have a strong book of clients, I mean, I would say booth rent is the way to go.
Booth rent's just the easier. If you have a lot of clients, it's the easier route to go. If you're just starting out and you're building, I would say commission or hourly. Those I think are the better options. Another thing about hourly is like once you have, like if you have your own, like say your booth rent, you can charge hourly, but you're still booth rent versus commission.
Right.
There's the difference between hourly there. So like with booth rent, hourly is you're charging that price per hour and it's your decision, versus like at another salon where you're hourly, it's they're paying you what they deem is necessary for hourly.
Right. Exactly.
So that's where that fits in. But if you have a book, it boils down to, if you have a book and you just want your own space, I think booth rent is the better option. But if you're building and growing, I would say commission.
And then let's talk about the difference between like a salon suite and then being in a salon renting a chair, because there's a big difference.
Oh, there's a big difference. There's a lot more insurance that goes into it. There's a lot more, you're by yourself a lot. Like with a salon suite, you have, everything is yours. Everything is yours. You can, your own rules, this, that, and the other. But like with renting a chair, you need to, take into consideration the rules of the salon, even though your chair is your business.
Right.
Like there's salon rules, there's obviously insurance that's different. If they have products, selling products or whatever, and you guys work that out together. As far as like all your own products are still, regardless of either one, your products are still your own.
Right.
So it's just if you want to be around other people or not. For me personally, like that's the difference.
It's a big one.
It's a big difference. Like if you just want to be yourself and just have you and your clients, then by all means get a salon suite. It'll be the best option for you. But if you don't mind being around other stylists and having that, creative energy that happens in a salon sometimes, I would say to be booth rent.
Yeah, also awesome, great answer. I think that too, and I also think it depends on the style. Like some people aren't gonna want the blondie style, and then
it's different for everybody.
Right.
You have to pick and choose the salon that you're gonna be in that fits best for you and for the company.
I also know for me personally, before I even took on this business, I had looked around at some of the local salon suites, and they're a lot more expensive. To rent a salon suite as opposed to just renting a chair. So if you're just looking to take clients and make money and get in and out, I mean, this is a great option. I really love what we're doing here, and with just the three of us, it's been awesome. So I'm definitely looking forward and expanding our team and, making some magic, because I think one of the benefits of something that I've brought to this particular salon, Blondies, is I really am passionate about it. A lot of people that buy a salon, a lot of them are men, or they're not in the industry and they have no idea about the industry. They're not even cosmetologists. They just have somebody with a license that's able to purchase the building. So sometimes you're working.
They just have a business license.
Right.
So they know how to run a business, but they don't know how to run a salon, because it's the same, but it's different.
Yeah, and also more than likely you're probably going to clash with them because they're not, properly taking care of things. And what I wanted to really offer is, listen, I'm ready to market you if you want to be marketed. I'm ready to put you on the website. We do photo shoots here every few months to promote, our merchandise, to promote our content. We have IGK hair that we work with. We have the yeah, exactly. We have the option to and that's what I wanted to do. You see behind us we have IGK. I wanted to really retail products here that we feel passionate about. I didn't want to just get a product just to be like, hey, we have these products for you guys to buy.
Right.
I was in retail for a long time. Like I said, I worked for MAC. I worked for Sephora for a little bit. I did the freelance thing for a while, and it's important to really like your product. It's important to know the product and be able to speak to it. And obviously the packaging is amazing, so you could see why we would want it in here. And the company's been great to us, so I'm just excited about that and to show you guys what we have in here.
As far as product goes, I never wanted to work at a salon that sells product because you feel the need to push it.
Right.
Versus like here, it's more relaxed, it's more laid back. I don't have like a weekly quota that I have to hit. I don't have things like that. And I actually really love this brand. Like I love this line that they've created. Like their products are absolutely amazing. And the fact that I've fallen so deeply in love with them, I'm willing to sell it. It comes down to if you like the products or not when you're in a salon selling. Like, you have to be able to just, the passion behind it is, to me, what fuels it.
Exactly. So if you guys have any questions or anything about products or IGK, you can always check out their website, or you can feel free to message us. We'd be happy to answer anything for you. We don't carry their whole line right now, but maybe as sales grow, as business grows, we'll start to expand a little more into more of their line. But right now we have some awesome products for styling and shampoos and conditioners and, all those things like that. So we're excited to bring that to you.
Yes.
For sure. So
next one.
Yeah, for sure. So the next one is, what's your favorite part about your career and the industry?
I would say my favorite is fantasy colors or like big transformations. Just seeing from the before and then the after transformations, like being a part of that to me is just, there's nothing else that can compare to my feeling towards that. I've done a lot of things in my life, and this is the one thing that like really fuels my passion, is to be able to take something that's like a hot mess and turn it into something insanely beautiful. And like just watching that process in between is everything.
I agree. I'm
What
going
do
to
you
stop
feel?
you really quick because I have a little hair, and then we can edit that out.
I'll just flip my hair
edit
back.
this part out, but I just wanted to fix her hair really quick. Okay.
What about you? What's your favorite part about the industry?
I have so many favorite parts of this industry, and then I could also tell you my least favorite parts of the industry too. I don't even think we have that in there.
I think my least favorite would be perms.
Okay, yeah, we really don't.
It's not something I enjoy doing. It's my one part of the industry that is my least favorite.
Is there like a specific reason? Because for me, it's definitely like the smell is a little bit intrusive. It also can be. It could be a complicated process if you have like tons of hair and you want to perm, and it's also not guaranteed to work for everybody and every hair type either. So it could be a frustrating process that takes a while to do. I know in school, and I'm sure if any of my teachers are watching this, I apologize for the stuff I put you through in school, but I refused to do perms for the most part if I could avoid it. But we used to have to roll perms in school, roll all the time. So definitely is ingrained in my head, but I agree with you that it's definitely not one of my favorite parts of the industry.
But what's your favorite?
Woo! Okay, so I would say, I say that because it's like I get so excited just even thinking about it. My favorite part of the industry would be production work. I do a lot of production work.
Yeah.
It's actually slowed down a lot now, and basically what I mean by production work is, for the people that don't know, is just like working with a team. So doing like commercials, doing short films, doing anything with a team, basically with, the whole crew. That's my favorite thing to do. It's what I've been doing for years now. I would say it's like my specialty. I definitely specialize in it. Anything for camera, photo shoots, events, anything like that. I absolutely love it. I think that there's a special part to working with a team, whether you're working with a team in a salon or you're working with a team on a project like for a film or a project for a commercial. There's something so gratifying about just watching everybody have a little piece to the puzzle into what makes such a beautiful final project.
Yeah.
And I've met so many awesome connections through just doing production work. So it's definitely my favorite. I also really do love events. Events can be a little overwhelming sometimes if you have like a huge event or a huge party, but then you just bring like a friend and you have them help you out, and and you do it like that. So it works really well. I would say my least favorite part of the industry, this is a pretty easy one to say, would be, this is tough. I would say it is the effect that it's almost a struggle. It's like an internal struggle, because I feel like sometimes the effect that the world of beauty has on women, or just people in general, I shouldn't specify women, honestly, anybody. It could have a really big effect on people. Like if you're scrolling through Instagram and you feel like everybody's nipped and tucked and everyone's hair is done and everyone's makeup's flawless and they have lashes and injections and this and that. Like, I think do you, whatever makes you happy. But at the same time, it's also like we've kind of lost a little bit of what makes us us without having all the extra. And I think that it has a big effect. I could go into this, all day.
That's a whole nother
video. That's a whole nother video that we can get into. But I think that it has a big effect on, young girls and young guys, and it just has a big effect now more than ever because of social media. Not even really as much because of the industry, but because there's so much on the internet available for you to be able to see, and then next thing you know, you're comparing yourself and you're depressed, and that's something. That's Instagram or Facebook or anything in general, but I think that's one of my, it's like, it's tough. It's like an internal battle. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, I just want to go live on a farm and be like natural and, grow fruit.
So my childhood.
Grow like armpit hair or something.
Farm was great, by the way.
Yeah, I would love to do that, and like maybe in the future I would do that. But nice. It's like the struggle. Like you wanna be pretty, you wanna be cute, you wanna be fly, but also you're like, man, like this is a lot of work. It's a lot of work sometimes, Yeah. You don't just wake up and look like this. You got to put effort into it. So that's definitely I struggle with that a little bit, but it's okay. It's all good.
So what are your goals in life and in hair?
That's a deep one.
It is.
I have to take a drink before I answer that.
A little thirsty.
So, goals in life. Okay, that one is a lot because,
It's a deep question.
That is a deep question, because if you had asked me a few years ago, I'd have been like, I don't know. I'm kind of just like going wherever life takes me, which I still think that we have to think that way, because especially after last year and the pandemic and everything like that, I think that it really has taught us that like life's going to throw us surprises, and even though we make plans, like, we might not be able to follow through with those plans. You have to be adaptable and you have to constantly be moving. But if I could paint out this picture perfect vision for my life,
world,
then I would love to buy a house, in East Fort Lauderdale. That would be ideal, although it's pretty expensive over here.
Get into existence.
Yeah, I would love to buy a house over here. I would love to just see the business grow and flourish. I've been kind of torn between, in the future, do I want to, people have asked me would I want to like franchise this, or would I want to get like another salon and do the same thing? The answer would be absolutely yes, if the opportunity was right, if the time was right. I'm not in a rush to do anything right now. Right now, all my eggs are in this basket. And besides that, my awesome boyfriend, Nick, who I have to say that because he's going to be editing this video. No, but for real, he's awesome. If you guys know him or have met him.
He's very sweet.
He's awesome. So, but that's where my life is going right now. My life goals are to build our future and our life, and to build the salon and the business, and then wherever else life takes us from there, I'm open to it. And as far as my goals with hair, I would say for me, I would have to say hair and makeup, because I don't really...
Yeah, no, you have to... Yeah, yours is...
Yeah, honestly, I've been asked, like, what are things that I haven't done that I would want to do. I think every makeup artist or hairstylist who does production work wants to, or who does models or anything like that, they want to be signed with an agency, or they want to be in the union, things like that. So those are things that I haven't done that I think would be cool to do, but also if you're signed with an agency, they take a cut. So I'd rather just book my own work at this point. I kind of gave up on that idea. And as far as the union, I feel like it's like a cult or something. Like, I don't even know if I can say that, but I feel like it's like
Are we allowed to say certain words?
I don't know. Yeah, there's
I guess we'll find out.
Specific words we're not allowed to say, I think. So, anyway, it's just a group of people that I feel like it's like a clique. Like, you have to be, like, invited or, like, it's like, you have to be, like
a lot of salons around here.
Yeah, jeez. Okay.
Well, salons in general, maybe.
Right. So, yeah. I mean, I've never actually worked on, like, a feature film. So I would say that would be a really awesome experience to experience. I have done short films. Shout out to CNI Studios. So thank you for all the opportunities you guys have given me. It's been an amazing ride. I can honestly say I don't know what else I would want to do at this point. Did I ever make my goal? We can talk about this. Did I ever make my goal of doing celebrities? I have done a couple, probably not too many that you guys would know. But it's not anything that I ended up wanting to do because, like, I think we said this before, it just kind of takes over your life, and I don't want to be
consuming
a celebrity's, like, beck and call every 5 seconds. Like, powder me. Like, no, I don't want to do that. So,
well, yeah, and then they have to get up and get ready at 5 a.m. for something, and you're there at 4 to make sure everything's, like, set up and taken care of, and it's a lot.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm really open to the industry right now. I think there's so many opportunities, and wherever life takes me, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would say, for me, we'll start with hair. As far as, like, hair in my career, I feel like I just want to grow a lot more because I've already done a lot. I would love to be featured in more magazines. I was featured in Voyage Miami as an online magazine. Shout out to
Voyage Miami.
They're amazing. I actually had 2 features in them. One was a hair that I did, like the style, and then the other one was an interview. And they were an incredible company to work with. Everything was all online, email back and forth. I would love to be a part of more things like that. I would love to, dip my toes into the water of, like, I actually got reached out to by the hair guru.
Ooh.
Twice.
That's exciting.
Twice. But it costs a lot to do it, and finding a model isn't the easiest thing in the world. So that's why I haven't done it yet, but I'm hoping in the near future that I can actually, get a model and get set into it, because then once I'm in there, and then I'll be featured in, like, more things, I'll have more opportunities. So just to build and to grow. As far as life, I mean, I have the life I've always wanted, really. Like, this is the cutest thing. I have cute answers.
You're so cute, Kacy.
I am so cute. Yes. I have really cute answers. Like, growing up, I always wanted kids. I wanted 2 kids. I wanted a boy and a girl, and I wanted the boy to be older. I don't have kids, but I have fur babies.
Right. I have a fur baby. Well, you also have 2. I have 1.
Yes. I have Binks and Kahlua. Binks is older. He's a black cat, and then Kahlua is a tortoise shell. She's a little younger. But I have my boy and a girl. The boy's older. I've always wanted to live where there's palm trees. I wanted to live by the beach. I live in South Florida. I've always wanted a career where I feel successful. I feel appreciated. I feel, I just want to be surrounded by genuine energy. I've wanted this my whole life, and I have that. I have DeAnna. I have some of my wonderful friends. I have some of my wonderful clients. Like, I have all of this positive energy in my life. I would say the only other thing is I want, maybe a bigger apartment, because who doesn't want a bigger apartment?
Right, who doesn't want space?
Yeah, who doesn't want more space? And then eventually I'd like to get married. I'm single right now, so I can't...
Slide in those DMs.
No! Girl! Listen!
About to get myself in trouble over here.
Fine.
No, I'm serious, though.
Fine, I'm not cleaning your bowls for a week.
Shit. Edit that out.
No, I mean, pretty simple answers. Just like cute little things. I have the life I've always wanted, and I still definitely want more for myself. I want, eventually I want to own a house, want to get married, don't want kids. I have my wonderful fur babies who are my world. That's pretty simple.
I love it. Did you say how long you've been in Fort Lauderdale?
4 years.
Yeah, I've been here 6 years now, so from Tampa. And it's crazy. South Florida is a land of opportunity. Honestly, there's so much to do down here. Like, when I moved down here, I was like, I want to do models. I want to do celebrities. And then when I moved down here, and I was like, there's so many things you can do. You don't have to limit yourself to just being one or doing one thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt
no,
you, but
go ahead.
Pandemic aside, like, you can still go to the beach. You can still go for walks. Like, just walking out the door and seeing South Florida as it is something that I feel is not to be, I don't know my words right now.
Like, you can't take that for granted.
Yeah, you can't take it for granted. Like, there's days I drive to work and I literally just stop and look at all of the scenery around me, and it's so incredible. I just, like, you can't.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And we're in the environment down here, like, to speak on that, just where you can, like, go outside and, like, everybody's anxious to kind of socialize right now.
Yeah.
So, like, we meet people just going to, you know, juice bar and cafe and getting a smoothie, and we just have a conversation and we'll pick up a client. Like, I actually just did that last week. So it's, like, really cool. You think that with a pandemic and everything that it's gonna limit your opportunity, but you just have to be adaptable and really find your way around. That's what it comes down to. So there's so many. If you're interested in I wanted to talk about this later, but we'll talk about, like, advice to, like, people who are looking to do what we're doing. But I just want to say, if you are interested now, that there are so many ways for you to, like, at Mac they used to say, there's all kind of ways to get to China. There's not one route to China. There's so many different routes to China. So there's definitely ways to get there, which kind of, we'll go into the next question. Like, what inspires you now, and what inspired you, I guess, as a kid? You know?
You want me to go first?
I can go first on that one if you want.
I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead.
What inspired me as a kid was, you know, really the story of nails, like, from earlier. I just was very into it. Like, I wanted to do it all the time. I always wanted to do, I have two mixed sisters. So I always wanted to do their hair, but my hair is vastly different from theirs. So they both told me no. I tried doing my niece's hair. They both told me no. I tried doing, you know, my mom's hair, my sister-in-law's hair. I tried everybody around me. I wanted to do their hair, and they're like, I don't trust you with the spoon, so no, I don't trust you with a hair tie. And I was like, but it's two vastly different things. Like, why? Okay, sure. I always wanted to be doing it, and you know, I have other passions and hobbies and stuff like that as well, but I wanted to be around, like, the genuine, I keep saying the same things over and over and over, but I really mean it. Like, I wanted to be around genuine people. I wanted to be around creative people, because I'm a very creative person, and creative people inspire other creative people. I wanted to continue to be inspired by other creativity that I've seen, and even in other aspects of life. Things like that. Like, what inspires me now is there's several artists on Instagram. There's DeAnna, because you're actually extremely talented. Seriously,
so
like, very, very talented, and I'm just blown away by your work every time I see it.
Love.
Don't cry.
Just all the love.
Don't cry. I have, my friend Farina is actually in school right now, and she's already extremely talented, even though she's just in school. Like, when I was in school, I was horrible. This girl, Liz, that I was friends with for 11 years, she told me that, 11 years? God, I've been doing hair longer than 11
I would
years.
say, to be fair to yourself, though, like,
God.
YouTube and everything
She's
like that
like,
wasn't popping
no,
at that time for
no,
you to really
right.
have education access like we do now.
Exactly,
Which
that
I don't
too.
want to say follow YouTube for everything, but there's
No.
well, follow YouTube now and like
yes.
and subscribe our channel,
Yes.
actually.
No, but she told me all the time. I would get compliments from, like, my clients on, like, what I did, and she's like, well, thank you, like, I taught her, and I was like, excuse me? And she's like, yeah, but, like, when you started, you sucked. Like, you couldn't cut your way out of a paper bag. I was like, I mean, you probably right, but at the same time, like, you don't gotta say that on the floor right now. Like, come for me, why don't you? Just run me over with a bus. That's nice. Like, be appreciative. I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm great now. Thank you.
Look, it's a growing process here. Not everybody's going to walk into something and be amazing. What do they say? It takes like 10,000 hours or something to be an expert. Like, I think Kanye said that, or somebody said that.
Of course it was Kanye.
Yeah, of course it's Kanye. But you have to put a lot of time and effort. Like, when I first started doing makeup, man, I could pull up some before and afters of like when I first started, and it was not that good. But you know what I would do is I would take pictures of my work and I would look and see like, okay, the eyebrows aren't good. This is how I should do them next time. And that's how you learn. I think that's just...
Taking pictures of your work is very important because you can look back and see, you know, what you did wrong and what you did right and what you feel is best to give the best service afterwards.
That's something that I've struggled with. Like, if I mess up on something, sometimes I'll dwell on it. And I think at the end of the day, if you mess up on something and you know what you messed up on and you just know how to fix it for next time, then you're already one step ahead.
Don't beat yourself up over it.
So I would say what inspires me is the hustle. Like, and that's just honestly, like, I could say that from when I was a kid and for my adult years. When I was younger, you know, I moved around a lot from house to house because my mom passed when I was 14. So, like, I did have family and friends. Luckily, you know, they say it takes a village. It really did take a village. I had a lot of my friends' moms who I called mom. And they really took care of me. I was able to live with a couple of my friends. I ended up moving in with my dad for a short period of time, but I was very rebellious and, you know, I didn't want to, he really tried to be my dad at that point, and I really was just not trying to hear it. I was kind of the mind state, like, my mom didn't tell me what to do, so how are you going to tell me what to do? So at 16, 17 years old, I already felt like I was an adult, even though I wasn't. And so really what was inspiring me is just having my independence, you know, being able to get my own apartment, being able to take care of myself. My grandfather that is like one of my best friends, and he probably disliked me for a long time because I fought him on a lot of things. I was very immature and I didn't listen to a lot of his advice. Although I will say I did hear it. I just didn't really listen to it at the time. So, and he'll tell you the same thing if he was here right now. So honestly, it was just my independence, which brought me into the strip club industry because I was so enthralled with like, oh, well, I can just make cash every night. And like, oh, I have control over like my body and like I have control over these guys. And like, it was just a very powerful experience for me, which you can take away whatever you want from that situation. It's not like I'm recommending it necessarily, but I do think that it made me who I am today. So I think it's an awesome thing. And you know, it's a hustle. Like, you have to constantly hustle. And sometimes, like, some of my girls know, like, we would work, like, 7 days a week. And it was fun for us. Like, it was fun to go get money. Like, we would be like, oh, tonight we're going to make 300 and then we would. Or tonight we're going to make 500 and then we would. And then it was just fun. Like, it was fun to do. It was crazy. Like, I'd never do it again at this point. I mean, you know, I'll be 33 this year. But I love my girls who did it and who still do it, and it was a great time. So honestly, the hustle inspired me. The makeup industry, I noticed when I worked at MAC, it was funny because like in a strip club, when you see a guy walk in the door, like all the strippers will automatically like go to him to try to get him to be their client, right?
Yeah.
Which is so funny because you don't think about it's sales, but you don't think about it like that really when you're dancing. But then when I started working for MAC, it felt the exact same way because I was working in a large store in Aventura Mall, and I think there was like 70 of us at one point. Like, we were a huge door at the time. And all my girls that are watching this will know what I'm talking about, that we all be like fish swimming by the door, like waiting for a client to come in because we had sales goals every day, which was even more pressure because you're making all this money for the company, but you're taking home like $80 a day or whatever it is. Like, you're taking home like nothing compared to what you're selling. So, excuse me. So it's just crazy. So the hustle really inspired me. And then, you know, when I started working for MAC and I realized like I can make $100 a face, or I can make, you know, $100 for a hairstyle or whatever the case is, like it just really motivated me to want to get out there and do it. And you really have to have that hustle mindset when you're doing what we're doing, especially in booth rent, because if you're a commission stylist, you're going to get handed clients by your owner. But if you're a booth rental, or if you're a freelancer, if you do hair, makeup, if you're, you know, cameraman, if you're a director, whatever you do, you have to hustle. Like some weeks you're making nothing, and the next week you're making $2,000. Like you get into it, you get out of it what you put into it. So for me, what inspires me is a hustle. I will cry and sweat tomorrow that I'm not making any money, and then the next day I'm making all this money, and then I just laugh at myself because it's constantly a process. So you have to ask yourself, like, is this something that you are willing to commit to? Are you going to put everything into it? If not, I mean, the freelance business, it's probably not for you. You should probably, work for somebody, which isn't a terrible thing. But you should definitely probably work for somebody so they can help you at least build clients, and then once you've built your own clientele from that person, then you can go off on your own. But until, and also to touch back on that, you also have to be ready to take a risk. If you're too comfortable in your job, or if you're too comfortable at like a commission salon,
yes,
it can get really comfortable because you're just,
don't let yourself get comfortable.
Right. And if you feel like you want to make that jump, like the best advice that I could give is honestly just make the jump. I quit Mac without a job. I was so fed up with, the retail industry because I just felt like I didn't fit in anymore. I felt like this isn't where I want to be. I was working for a big department store at the time. I don't even know if I should say the name, but I was working for a big department store at the time and I didn't fit in there. I have full sleeves and colored hair, and they didn't like that. Like, their rules were, regular hair and no tattoos showing. So the Mac girls were, and boys were coming in there, looking like me and looking like her, and they didn't like that. So I felt uncomfortable and out of place, and for me, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to go make the jump and go work for myself.
Yeah. How about your proudest moment, industry related?
Oh man, I think I have a couple of them.
I don't know if I have one.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like you got some awesome accomplishments. You got the interviews.
The accomplishments, but I don't know if I have reached my proudest.
I see. You know what's crazy is, like, we're talking about our goals and everything, and I know that we've kind of touched base on this before, but I could really see you doing education. Like, I could see if well, maybe our YouTube will kick off and we'll do great and people will love us and we'll blow up this way. But
right,
maybe I'm just streaming. But I could really see you like educating, or I could just see you being like a star in this industry. I can really see that. So I think that the more that we push, and it's just one of those. It's part of the goals. It's part of the journey. We're still we've only been working together for a few months, so we're just getting started, and I'm excited to where the both of us are going to go. I would say my proudest industry moment. I have a couple of them. One of them is actually 2 weeks after I quit Mac. This is another CNI Studios shout out. 2 weeks after I quit Mac, I got an opportunity to go around the world with them, basically. We were shooting like an internal marketing video for a very large tech company, which I probably can't even say. I'm under NDA, but I don't even think that matters anymore. But we were a very large tech company. We went all around the world, and I believe it was like we were on like 15 airplanes in like 14 days. We flew from Miami to Switzerland to Israel, Israel to, I think we flew as a layover to Seoul, North Korea, South Korea. I don't know, one of those Koreas. And that was just like a layover, but then we ended up in New Zealand, and we shot in New Zealand, and then we went all the way back to San Francisco, and then we toured the U.S. for a few states. And it was all in like 14 days.
That's insane. I
could tell you how extremely exhausted we all were. It was like insane. The producer had just had a baby, so there was a baby on the airplane with us.
Oh, geez.
I mean, it was intense. Like, I probably looked like crap most of that trip, and I got extremely sick when we were in New Zealand because everyone on the airplane was coughing, and I just knew I was going to get sick, so I did, of course. And then I was like sick with the flu for like 2 or 3 days. But that was definitely one of my biggest accomplishments, just because of the fact that sometimes you think your career could take you around the world. Mine literally did, although it wasn't like some glamorous job, like where, we got to like actually enjoy these places. We didn't like, we were in them for less than 24 hours. I think even in Israel, we had checked into the hotel for 30 minutes just to shower and then checked back out. And left. Like, we weren't even in Israel for like 24 hours. So we didn't really get to enjoy anything, but it was such a cool opportunity that I even got to do that. So that's definitely one that sticks out for me, for sure.
What about client stories?
Whew, client stories. I have some good ones. I would say I've met so many awesome clients from word of mouth. I think word of mouth is one of the biggest ways that you can get clients. So I'll say as of currently, like a lot of my clients come from like recovery programs. I did some work with Recovery Unplugged recently last year, and actually I have developed some amazing relationships because of that particular program. Like a lot of my clients are like based around them or based around recovery now, and we can share like a lot of similar stories because I've been through recovery myself. Although I never went through a program, I definitely had a little bit of a problem with drugs and alcohol for a little while. I managed to get myself into control, but you know, some people need extra help, and that's totally awesome. You have to get that if you need it. My mom tried. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for her, but you have to want it.
You have to want it.
So that's a strong bond for me, is having those clients who I really relate to. I love them. And then the really cool thing about what I do with events is you get to get people ready for their big days. So like their weddings, I've seen some of my, like we've talked about this before, you see clients when they're babies and then all of a sudden they're driving. You know what I mean? So you get to really get to know your clients. You get to know their families. You know everything about them. You're basically their therapist because they're sitting in your chair and they're telling you their whole life story.
Yes.
I'm probably saying like all the things about client stories right now.
Do you have any individual client stories?
There was, and this has been on the internet too.
Could be good or bad.
Not specifically with me that this is special to, because I've seen this before, but I remember when I was working at Mac in the department store, and there was an elderly man and an elderly woman, and the woman was like, she couldn't do her makeup anymore. I forgot why. I don't remember if she was like, I think there was a problem with her shoulders or her hand or her wrist or something, but she couldn't do her makeup anymore. So the husband actually came in for me to give him a lesson on how to do her makeup. Which I've heard a couple of stories like this before, so it's not necessarily something that's new, but it was very touching to me. I think those moments in your life, like, you don't realize like the kind of power that you can have sometimes, because you think, oh, it's just the beauty industry. Like, people don't take this seriously. People think that this is just a hobby for us. Like,
yeah,
we put a lot.
I agree.
We put everything into this. We really do. I don't think a lot of people realize. I know a lot of our clients do. They see how hard we work. They see, you know, the products that we have to pay for, the time that we put into it, the effort that we take to come in every day. Even if we're having a terrible day, we have to put a smile on our face and make you guys feel great.
Agreed.
You know, and that's definitely a memorable one that sticks out for me. I'm sure there's more, but that's definitely one. What about you?
Recently I had Gail. She was phenomenal. She came in and she has Parkinson's, so her husband was with her. He drove her, and she's, you know, a little slow moving, whatever. And she told me like 9 times that she has Parkinson's. She told me, because, you know, they forget. She told me, you know, she doesn't even remember how old she is. She doesn't remember how old her kids are. And I felt that so hard.
So she probably has a little bit of dementia too.
Yeah. She also, like, asked me my name a bunch of times, and I'm just, like, super patient with her because, you know, you can't help.
Right, exactly.
You know, whatever. And he came in, and he was like, she just needs, like, a haircut. Like, someone, the last haircut she had was not the greatest. So I just kind of fixed her up nice, gave her a pretty blowout with some curls, and it just was so touching to see the love that they have. They also are both tattooed. They, you know, this cute older couple, they both have all these health issues. They're both tattooed. They're both, they ride motorcycles. So she said that she told somebody else that, and they're like, oh, that's cute. Like, she's like, we're not trying to be cute. I was like, this lady is amazing. Like, of course you're not trying to be cute riding a motorcycle. Cool. Like, you're trying to be cool. You're trying to be, like, tough, you know? She just was hilarious. We had the greatest time together. It's very, like, it makes me more hopeful to see other relationships in my life last. Because my parents got divorced when I was 10. We talked about
that was
some of that earlier. But as far as, like, heartwarming client stories, I've had a few. I have had several times in my life where I've done, you know, little kids' hair, and then now they're driving, they're taller than me, their voice is super deep. I'm like, where did this come from?
Right.
Like, I had my one client, she has triplets, and they're all driving now. Two of them, the one's voice is just like normally lower. The other two are like really deep. Like really, really deep. So I didn't see them for like most of the pandemic. So when they came back in to get haircuts, get haircuts, and I was like, what happened? Like, you're 4 inches taller. Like, I mean, 4 inches is like a drastic difference from when you're so used to seeing them the same height for a while.
Right.
And then, you know, their voice and their driving and like all this other stuff is new. I was like, why? When did this happen? I missed a note or something. Like,
skipped a beat over here.
Can we back up a second and like?
I think that's so cool. I love that. I love like I think that's so important. Like, it's something that we don't really stop to think about, but like we really do become a part of our clients' lives in so many ways. Like, it's a beautiful thing to have those. And I think that there's probably so many more stories that we could tell you guys, but my memory is not that great, so I could probably only remember
it's okay,
as far as
mine.
yesterday anyway. All right, cool. So we have a pretty basic one, like more about you and what do you like? What are you interested in? We already kind of talked about that we both are cat people. What do you do on a day-to-day basis? I definitely know what she does on a day-to-day basis, but I'll let her tell you that.
What do you mean what I do on a day-to-day basis? I'm here all the time.
Like your hobbies, like your...
Okay, I'm a hobbies. Yeah. All right, let's talk about hobbies. I crochet. I crochet a lot. I just got into diamond painting, which is really weird and really cool.
I haven't heard about that. What's diamond painting?
It's so you have this like fabric or whatever that has like a printed out thing on it, and it has like little like symbols in each little square, and you take these little like gem things and you stick it on there, but it's already got glue on it, so you just like take the little thing and you stick it on the thing.
So you create an image by
but it's like it gives you like a guide. It gives you all the little gems and stuff.
I love that. It reminds me of the coloring books from when we were kids.
It's like paint by numbers, but with like little gems, and it takes forever. Like, my neck was hurting so bad because I had just done a color correction, and then I went home and did it, and I was like, my poor neck right now. What else do I like? Hobbies. I haven't been bowling in forever.
Ooh, bowling's fun. Bowling's fun. It's hard with the nails, right?
I have my own bowling ball. I have an 8-pound Finding Nemo bowling ball.
See, I didn't know that one. You guys are getting new information.
Like, so one of my ex-boyfriends, I was like 18, 19 or whatever. So for my birthday, he bought me he wanted to be in a bowling league. So he bought me a bowling ball that I chose and shoes and like a bag, and he bought me like the little powder ball thing. And then he stole my powder ball and he stole my towel to like clean it off afterwards. I was like, Indian giver,
right?
Rude.
Give it to you and take it back.
So I like bowling. I haven't been doing that a long time. I like to paint. I don't paint very often, but I like to paint.
You paint hair very often.
I paint hair all the time.
You do that very well.
I paint hair all the time.
Fantasy color queen over here.
I love it.
And then we know World of Warcraft.
It's
like, say that 10 times fast. I can't. I can barely say it once.
WoW for short. I actually just got Verena into playing WoW with me. She asked me though. She's like, "Can we play WoW?" I was like, "Who are you?"
I feel like I'm interested now because I feel like I'm having FOMO.
What's FOMO?
Fear of missing out. It's a Leo problem.
You see, you might like it, you might hate it.
I don't know.
We're on the Horde side, so for the Horde.
Listen,
for anybody else watching.
Nick, my boyfriend, he tried to get me into Pokemon. He loves Pokemon. So I tried to play it with him for a little bit, but I get ADD like crazy. Like, my ADD is like all over the place. So like I can't focus. Like, I can't even read a book anymore. I feel like I need audiobooks. Like, I'm very visual.
Yeah,
I need to constantly be like seeing things or doing things.
Oh, exactly. I was actually diagnosed with ADHD when I was little. My mom put me on like Ritalin one time, and it made me 10 times worse. She's like, "No, we're not doing that." So she stopped, and she told the doctor, and the doctor was like, "Well, hopefully she grows out of it."
Yeah.
My dad's girlfriend's neighbor taught me how to crochet, and spending that summer like learning how to knit, how to crochet, how to like do all of these creative things to have that creative outlet when I was that age, like really helped me learn how to focus and learn how to like deal with certain things. I feel like that also helps me in hair because I also have the ability to focus on one section of hair at a time versus like feeling all over the place sometimes, and you're like
getting
all over the
overwhelmed
head
with
and
the
getting
whole project,
overwhelmed. So I feel like that really helped me figure out how to focus on certain things, and that's why I'm very detail oriented. I'm very particular about a lot of things, and I feel like that's helped a lot. I don't feel like I have ADHD anymore, but I definitely feel like I still might have a little bit of like ADD or something, because I do go off on like
and I honestly think that could be because of the times we're living in too. Like,
yeah.
you know, when we first wanted to do this video, I asked around, you know, for people's opinions on the video, and a lot of people were telling me like, keep it short, do something short. And I said, listen, you know, we might do that for the next one, but for the first one, I really want to sit down and do like a get to know video. I don't really care about the length, but for me, like I probably would have been checked out of this video a long time ago. Hopefully you guys are not, but I'm excited. I mean, I think that's, you know, talking about the ADHD thing, I think that's part of what's going on right now with like TikTok and forums like that. You have like 10 seconds or 5 seconds to really like make an impression, and people are just getting so used to that they don't have the capacity to really focus anymore.
Yeah, you watch a lot of like 15-30-second videos, and when you get one that's a minute long, you're like, why is it so long? And then other times you're so captivated by the content that's in that 1 minute.
Right.
So you just want to watch more 1 minute videos, and you just like eat them up. But like when it's 15-second videos, sometimes you don't care about the content. So it's a little bit, you know, it's about like the length, the content, things like that. There's a lot that goes into it.
And I will say, to speak on that, just to circle back really quick, and this is kind of a plug, but what's so beneficial to what Kacy and I have here is neither of us double book clients.
Yes.
We might have to, like, sometimes if whatever the occasion is. I personally don't like to do it. I know she doesn't like to do it, because we really like to take our time on the client. We want to make people feel special. We never want this to feel like a hair factory where we're just trying to get you in and get you out. That's why a lot of the times we'll tell you, if you're coming in for a big project, you know, have nothing to do that day. We have snacks, we have drinks, we have music, you know, we have a really chill atmosphere. If you need to come in here and do work, you know, you could feel free to do that. But exactly. I just wanted to add that to the point of, you know, being focused and customer service. Like, I'm really customer service based because I come from a huge customer service background.
Exactly.
So for me, it's important to really cater to the clients here.
And a lot of my clients tell me how much they love that one-on-one with you. Whereas, like, when you go to another salon where they're double booked and, like, it's, you know, this, like, massively, you know, 30 chair salon, I'm exaggerating, but, you know,
it could be
this massive salon, and like everybody's double booking, you don't feel like you get the quality time with your stylist.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not saying that double booking is bad. I'm not saying that double booking is, you know, illegal or you shouldn't do it. By all means, double book. But from personal experience and being in the industry as long as I've been in the industry, my clients have even told me they value my time with them, and I value my time with my clients. Like, I don't want to have to feel pressured or rushed between 2 clients or between 3 clients. Like, it makes you look a little bit sloppy sometimes. So,
and you also want to think about right now. Like, look at what's going on
exactly.
right now.
With the pandemic and everything, you want to make sure that you're providing the cleanest, you know, safest, most sanitary, you know, service possible. And I feel like by one client at a time that you're a little more able to do that. I'm not saying it's not possible to do it double booking, but I just feel like the one-on-one is very special to the clients as well.
Agreed. So I'll go ahead and answer that question.
What are your hobbies?
What about me? What do I like? What are my hobbies? What do I like? What do I do? So I guess we'll start with like just basic lifestyle stuff. Over the last few years, like what's really saved me, you know, I have a little bit of anxiety and depression. I wouldn't say it's like necessarily diagnosed, but I have sort of had it diagnosed before, and you know, the way that I can manage it the best, I would say, is by taking care of myself. So over the last few years, I've gotten really into eating healthy. You know, I barely drink alcohol anymore. I only really do it on occasion, or like sometimes I'll do it on the weekend, but it's very minimal. I don't get like drunk anymore like I used to. It's not like I'm staying out. Yeah. Now I'm tired, but you know, I'm tired by like 10 p.m.
8 o'clock.
I can't
8 o'clock, she's in bed. She's like scrolling through on
grandma.
Instagram. Like, I'm kidding. It's realistically like 10 or 11.
But honestly, like this is my life now, because my life before, it was like 7 a.m. I'm at the after hours bars, you know.
Exactly.
Doing drugs and yeah. I'm not going to say all the things I was doing.
All the other things.
We'll save that for another time. But yeah, I mean, I did a lot of damage to my body, and you know, my grandparents, they're both very active. My grandmother is no longer with us, but she was a triathlete.
Really?
Yeah, my grandma was a triathlete. Run, bike, swim. That's what triathlon is. I can't speak English, right? So she was very athletic. She was always more fit than I was. She was the type of person that, like, no matter what was going on, if I was having an issue or like something was bad, she still had to go work out to, like, you know, or she got anxious and wound up. My grandfather, very athletic. He's 85 years old and he still goes jogging like every day, and he goes swimming all the time. Apparently, actually, I did the 23andMe test, and it says, like, my genetics are, like, elite athlete genetics, which is funny to think about because I'm not an elite athlete by all means, but I think if I would have applied myself to something when I was younger, if I would have had the opportunity, I probably would have been a great swimmer, honestly, I think.
23andMe.
Yeah, for sure.
At some point.
So, honestly, it's taking care of myself. That's one of my biggest things. I love to eat well. My thing for a while was I was on the vegan diet. I would say that I have been vegetarian for about 5 years now, but every once in a while I kind of weaned off of the vegan diet, and now I will do eggs and cheese. I will, like, taste a piece of, like, fish if I want to. Like, I'll have, like, one part of a sushi roll, or, like, for Christmas, I took, like, the tiniest little piece of Nick's steak. Like, I'll do stuff like that. For my birthday, we went to, like, a crab shack, and I had, like, these really awesome, like, Cajun-style crabs, which how can you say no to, because they're so deliciously seasoned. So I do give myself a little bit of leeway. I'm not as strict as I was before. I will say that, like, one of my goals in 2021 is to sort of wean back to that habit a little bit more of trying to eat more plant-based, because I think that I feel the healthiest. I always feel the best. Anyone, you know, interested in it, I highly recommend it if it works for you. It doesn't always work for everybody. I've had blood work done, and all my vitamins are fine. I'm not deficient of anything. I'm not protein deficient like people tend to say. There's so many opportunities to, you know, to not eat meat now. There's all kind of substitutes, and some of them aren't good. They're processed, but some of them are good. So it just, you have to find what works for you. Another big saving grace for me was yoga. Like, I really got into yoga heavily for years. Once the pandemic started and I couldn't go to classes anymore, it's not really as enjoyable for me to do it at home by myself. So I kind of have not gone back into that as much. Rollerblading is something that I love to do. I went once this week. I told myself I would go 3 times every week from now on, but that hasn't.
It's only Friday. You've got today and tomorrow.
Right. Unfortunately, I have to work both days, so I don't see that happening. But that's definitely something. I love anything artistic. I've gotten really into, like, we get a lot of comments on the branding of this place, and that's something that I never knew I was good at, and I've really fallen in love with it. The branding of this place, the social media, it's become sort of a hobby for me, just creating things on Canva, creating our posts, you know, setting up our merchandise. Shout out to Maddie, who is doing our intro for this YouTube. Yes. And Gear, her fiance, we love you so much.
We have some of her art in here.
Some of her art in here. Also, we have some really awesome art in here. It's at Malibu. Barbara did this blonde logo over here. That you're looking, it's the one that she's wearing on her sweatshirt.
This one.
Yeah. And then I have Bailey Macabre, I think that's how you say it. She's the one who did this awesome logo right here. So we have more things in the works coming for you guys, but that's definitely become a hobby of mine to do. And I would say besides that, I really love music. Music's like a big healer for me, so I'm constantly listening to music all the time. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm always listening to music. My favorite is obviously what you see around here. I'm inspired by, like, lots of, you know, 80s bands, and I love 90s. You know, we're all, like, 90s kids, so growing up in the 90s, I love the 90s. Anything punk, anything, you know, goth, anything rock. I was really into hip-hop when I was younger, and R&B, so, like, all that good baby-making 90s R&B is my jam.
Same.
Other than that, I mean, I really have become a homebody. Like, I love chilling at home. You know, I love being in the salon. Other than that, like, I love working. Working is definitely, sometimes it doesn't even feel like work because it's so enjoyable that I hate saying, like, I'm going to work, because sometimes it doesn't even feel that way, even though it is. You have to love what you do. I think it's so important. But I would say those are the main things, just hanging out with my cat, Blue, hanging out with my boyfriend, Nick, you know, and that's pretty much it, you know. We have, like, during the pandemic, we did get into painting. So there's like a bunch of paintings at the house that we both did that are fun. But other than that, I would say like that's the basics of what I'm doing when I'm not.
I feel like that's a good segue into our next question. How do you balance like work home?
It's pretty easy for me because well, work isn't as busy as it would be right now.
Right.
So
yeah,
right now
it's very slow
it's super easy
comparatively.
Right. So now it's super easy to balance work and home as opposed to like maybe this time last year I was like on airplanes and flying all over the place. Like I was in Vegas in last January I went to the Bahamas, like all for work. So it's like normally I'd be everywhere. But what's important for me is like, I try to keep my Sundays open. I'll work on Saturdays, but I try to keep my Sundays open if I can because I try to make it for my relationship that we have a day for each other to just hang out and relax.
Yes.
I think it's super important to make that time because, right now he works a 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, so he doesn't get home till like 7. And then we only have a few hours together at night, which is cool, but most of the time we're tired. So I think it's important to make that time for your significant other. More than that, it's also important to really make time for yourself. You want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself at home. So for me, it's like if I feel like I'm getting too overwhelmed with work, I'll either figure out what's most important and I'll take it by priority. And the awesome thing about what we do in this industry is we know so many other hairstylists and makeup artists that if we feel like we're getting overwhelmed, we could just be like, hey, do you want to take this client? And more than likely the client will be super happy that they're being taken care of in a great way.
Or you can reschedule. Like it's the opportunity to have, to be your own boss. You can reschedule your client. Like if you need a personal day, you can reschedule all your clients. Most people are going to be okay with it.
Right.
If they're not, then I feel like they don't really value your time.
Yeah, I'm speaking more of on the lines of just like events. Like sometimes if they have an event, you can't really do that. But like I try not to back out of events or anything like that. I really don't have that issue at all. But like if you absolutely need to, or if you were to get sick, or someone were to, if you have a family emergency or something like that, I think it's just really important. I take time every few months to go visit my grandfather. That's something really important to me. He lives like 3 hours from us. So you just have to have balance. You have to create balance because sometimes if you do get busy with work, it's going to get overwhelming. You're just going to keep getting clients and, it's hard to say no. It's hard to say no to people sometimes. Yeah. So you have to put your foot down and be like, okay, what's a good balance for me? Because if I'm working and I'm not taking care of myself, then I'm going to end up being sick. And you have to have balance. So
I actually have something to touch on with that. When I first moved down here, I was working in a commission salon and I didn't have any clients. So to build working in a commission salon, it was, an appointment only commission salon.
Right.
So it's hard to build that way. And I had to work 2 other jobs to make ends meet. Being somewhere new, you have no clients. And I chose to do that instead of working in like, a chain salon because I didn't want to work in a chain salon. I would rather take the time to build than work in a chain salon, being so far into my career. So I had to work 2 other jobs, and I worked 3 jobs 7 days a week to make ends meet, and I was like barely getting by. I was not very happy with myself. I literally got strep 3 times in 1 year. I would be sick. I had to call out for 4 days from all of my jobs. And they're like, yo, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm literally working myself to death. Like, I can't keep doing this. And I finally got to a point where I could, cut down a job. And then I got to another point where I was like so busy at the salon, I could cut down and just have the salon job. And it was very hard to do that, to move somewhere new if you don't have clientele. And they say it takes, about 5-ish years to build a solid clientele, and that's if you really work on it. I would always hand out my business cards. I would always, even just going out anywhere, anytime I left the house, I would always have business cards. Business cards are extremely important, especially in this industry. And like, now people ask for your Instagram, but it's still great to have business cards.
It looks more professional if you have business cards, for sure. And I will say that to ride off of what you just said for a second, like when it comes to having kids, like I can't really give much suggestion on that because obviously we don't have kids, but when it comes to like the work-life balance, like if I could give any advice, it's just when it comes to the corporate life, especially if you're working a corporate job and you're also like freelancing, or maybe you're looking to freelance, or if you're just like one of our clients watching this and you work a corporate job and you're like, I need a better work-life balance, you have to really create one for yourself because at the end of the day, that job doesn't really care about you. They really don't. More than likely, you're
Especially
replaceable. Like if you were to quit or to have an incident that day, more than likely they're going to have plenty of people lined up right now for your job. So you have to make yourself and your family a priority. You can't ever let a job dictate when you can or cannot be there for yourself or your family. I ran into that issue a lot with retail, and
yes,
and you have to put your foot down and be like, I'm taking this time off. Like I need this time off. And there's ways around it. You can I give you guys a little tips and tricks. There's medical leave. There's all kind of things that you could do that we used to.
I worked for a franchise that was in a mall, and I worked there for 8.5 years, and it was commission, so 50-50 split. And there would be days where it would be super, super, super busy, and I'm the one who's working my butt off the most, and she's like, oh, one more haircut, and I'm like, I need to eat. I need to take care of myself. Right. My body is telling me I'm hungry. I've been hungry for 3 hours. I'm going to go eat. And she would say, oh, one more haircut or you're fired. Like, so fire me. Like, what are you going to do?
Her.
I'm your best employee.
She's fired.
You're fired. I'm your best employee. Like, I have so much dirt on her. We're not gonna get there. We're not gonna cut that out. Anyway.
we won't touch on all the dirt that we have.
Yeah, no.
We'll save that for our next episode. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for the drama. I wish I had my no drama llama cup right now.
Oh man.
Kidding. But like, don't threaten your best employee to fire them. Like, why would you let go of someone who's amazing to your company, like who helps your company so much? I literally left to move down here from that salon, and within 1 year it was being shut down. The whole mall is pretty much gone now. Yeah, like I know that salon was on its way out to begin with, and I'm so glad I got out when I did.
Yeah, you gotta, especially.
I know, within 2 years it was shut down.
Unfortunately, the retail industry is falling with the rise of like internet shopping and everything like that. Yeah. I mean, like I just saw online yesterday, like you can virtually try on lipsticks at Sephora now, like virtually online on your phone.
Insane.
So it's like, you know, the old swatch method. Like, yeah, you still want to do that, you still want to feel it, and now you can't do that right now with the pandemic. But it's just interesting where this industry is going.
I feel like the lighting would still be so off.
It probably will be. I don't know. I'd have to try it out.
The good thing I know my shade, and I can just go buy the same foundation I've been buying forever, rather than trying something new and being orange. I have a very weird skin tone. I feel like it'd probably be really easy for you to get orange because you're so light. I have to get, because I have a warm skin tone, I have to get neutral because anything else makes me look orange.
Right.
I have to get neutral or cool.
Right. All right, cool. So
something you tell your younger self.
So this is one that I think my therapist will appreciate if she's watching this.
Oh, jeez.
I actually put this in here with her in mind. She's awesome. I love her. So something I would tell my younger self. Man, there's so much that I would tell my younger self. One of the main things that I always try to tell my younger self in my head when I go back and try to talk to my younger self to try to coach myself back through life again appropriately is I say, you know, that everything's going to be okay. I kind of give like a window into the future. So what I would really love to tell my younger self is that no matter what struggle that I'm going through at the moment, that I'm going through it, that there is a way out. It's not hopeless, and that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think no matter what your situation is in life, whether you have an addicted parent, whether you're adopted, whether you're, you know, abused, or, you know, whatever the situation is, I think that you can pull yourself out. It really just depends on you and how much you want it. And it's easy, like me, to get trapped into, like when I was younger in my 20s and I got pulled into drugs and alcohol. It's easy to get trapped in that life, but you have to be able to find your way out. So one of the main things I would tell my younger self is, you know, keep pushing, keep going. It's, you know, you're going to see some dark days, but the best thing that you can do is just hold your head high and keep going and keep hustling.
I would say something I could tell my younger self is to take better care of myself. That's something I've always struggled with, is just taking care of myself. I always find myself putting so much of myself into other people, and you know, you can't pour from an empty glass. So you have to really take care of yourself first. Be okay with who you are. Like, you have to accept yourself. If other people don't accept you, then cut them out. I've done that. I still have to cut out some more people, but we're not going to go there.
We'll list them all in the comments later.
In the description. Just kidding. Just kidding. No. No, but like, if something's not making you happy, let it go. That's something I also learned recently. But if something's not making you happy, let it go. If something's not helping you move forward, let it go. If something's standing in your way, walk around it. Jump over it.
One of my favorite things to always say is, like, you're either on the train or you're off. Like, this train's moving. Either you're on the train, you're coming with me, or this train's going to keep moving.
Yeah.
I think what you just
said
is...
Take time for yourself, though.
Right. What you said about accepting yourself, I think that's so cool, because when I was younger, I struggled a lot with my identity. Because I didn't really feel like I fit in anywhere with any particular, like, clique or group. And this is a joke, actually, between me and Josh at CNI Studios. He'll ask me, like, well, when did you know you were weird? At what age did you know you were weird? And I literally answered him when I was in second grade. My second grade teacher, Miss Major, told me that I was strange, and I'll never forget that. But for me at the time, I didn't really get it, and I couldn't really understand my mom. She was a young mom. She was only 17 years older than me. So, you know, she would drive me to school, and, like, she was way younger than all the parents at the school. And she was goth as hell. I don't know if I can curse, whatever. She was super goth. So, like, black nails, black hair, black outfit, super pale skin, black lipstick. And my dad was just the same. So the kids would be like, are your parents, like, witches? Like, what's going on? I'd be like, yeah, I guess. Like, I don't know. They're just my parents. Like, it's normal for me. I know it's crazy for you. So I didn't appreciate that as a kid. I wish, like, I could go back and tell my younger self, like, you have really cool parents. Like, my mom and I were best friends, granted her addiction, but we were really close, and I wish I could go back and tell my younger self, like, it's okay to not feel like you fit in, because now I feel like I stand out because I didn't fit in. And it just took so much of my years to really realize, like, I don't have to be like this group or that group. Like, I could just be my own individual group. I don't have to, like, label myself as, like, a goth girl or, like, a hip-hop girl, or, like, I don't have to label myself like anything like that. I could just do my own thing.
Yeah, back to when you said someone asked you, when did you find out you were weird? I kind of always knew I was weird. Like, when I introduce myself to people, like, not to clients, obviously, but, like, to friends or something, one of the first things I say to people when they're getting to know me is, I'm weird. I'm weird. I'm hilarious, but I'm also weird. Like, I just always been that way. Like, my style is so different than a lot of other people, and it's just not, like, normal, I guess.
Yeah, you kind of
what you were saying. I was
like,
I've always been in my own world.
I love that. I think that that's what makes us individual. Also makes us close, because, you know, when I met you, you were like, I'm weird. I just want you to know that. And I'm like, I'm cool with that. Like, be weird.
Exactly. Yeah.
Be you. Because, like, if you can't be you and you can't feel comfortable being yourself, like, why do I want to be somewhere that I don't feel comfortable at this point? Like, you know, hitting your 30s, you kind of realize at this point, it's just like, F it. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do, and I don't really care anymore what people think. Yeah. That's why I wanted to do this interview, because I think it's important for our clients and our friends and everybody else to really get a good perspective of us, to get to know us, and to really understand where we're coming from. And, you know, a place of, you know, kindness, a place of, you know, being genuine, being authentic. Yes. Like, I think this industry can be so catty and can be so combative and competitive, and I don't really feel competition, because I have we have our own little space here to create. I don't feel the need to compete with anybody else, because why? For what? Clients that love us are going to come to us. People that want to go to other places, that's totally fine. You know, there's so many beauty professionals in this industry. Like, I haven't been to just one person my whole life. Like, please feel free to explore. And if you want to come back, like, we'll welcome you back for sure.
And I would never, like, say I have a client that wants to go somewhere else that's been my client for a while, by all means go somewhere else. If you come back, I'll welcome you with open arms. I'm not going to feel like neglected or upset or whatever that you want to go try somebody else. By all means, like, it's not for us, it's not a competition. We're not trying to compete. Like, yes, we want our clients. Yes, client retention is important, but it's not for us. It's not a competition. Like, we're not trying to belittle other stylists. We're not trying to, make the industry worse than it already is sometimes. We want it to be more genuine and creative and open and accepting.
Exactly. So we could kind of go into something that we probably could have talked about this earlier, but that's okay. We'll just touch back on it really quick. So your favorite and least favorite industry trends. Woo! I would say there's some interesting ones floating around right now. I will tell you
some good ones.
Yeah, I will tell you with makeup, something that I'm really glad is gone is like the cut crease phenomenon and the over contour and highlight thing. When I was working at MAC, it was really fun to do, but it just wasn't necessary. I think a lot of people were coming in like wanting to contour and highlight and not really understand why or how to create the shape that they're trying to create. So that's where I come in. I love to educate. Like, I'll do makeup lessons, or hairstyling lessons or anything that you guys want to do. But I really love to be able to show people like the correct way to do things. I like to ask people why. Like, that's one of my favorite questions. Like, why do you want this? Like, if somebody says to me they want a balayage, like, why do you want a balayage? How do you want it to look? What do you think a balayage is? Because some people don't really understand a trend. They just know that it's trendy.
Yeah.
So they want the trend, but they don't really know why they want it. So I think communication and explaining to your client and really getting to know and doing a good consultation, getting to know what they want, getting to know what they need is super important. So I would say that was definitely one of my least favorite trends that I feel like lately it's been more of like the skin is in look. So a lot of girls and guys are wanting like more natural, like glowing skin and more focused on the eyes. We love lashes. Like, lashes are an amazing addition to Michelle Renee. Shout out to Michelle again. She used to say lashes are like push-up bras for the eyes. So that's how I always sold everyone on getting lashes.
Yes.
I would say that's definitely one of my least favorite industry trends. And then for hair, it's kind of hard to say. I would say that I've heard this a lot from a lot of the hair groups I'm in, and I don't want to say it's one of my least favorite trends, but I just think, and I love transformations. Like, you were talking about transformations earlier, but I think sometimes people have, and I've been guilty of this too, like hair commitment issues.
Yes.
Whereas like one day they want to box dye their hair black, and then the next day they want a platinum blonde experience, and sometimes we're not able to give that to them, so then their expectations are very high, and we're not necessarily able to provide them exactly what they're looking for. And again, that just comes with communication and being able to explain to you guys like why we can't achieve that in one day or in 2 hours. So I think that one of my least favorite trends right now is people's expectations are super high, and
because
they
of
want
media,
because of social media, and they want to pay like the lowest price for the best amount of work. And I just think you, as a client, you have to be more realistic with what goes into what we do. If we're spending 8 to 10 hours behind the chair with you, and we're only charging $200, $300, $400, I mean, you have to break that down hourly. It's not that much money plus product. All those things like that. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of strain. Sometimes we don't even stop to take a break to eat or drink. Or sometimes we're shoveling food in the back while you're processing. So there's a lot that goes into it. I just want everybody to, take a moment of gratitude. I know that during the pandemic, everybody kind of realized how important we are in the industry, like how you guys, really do and have to get your hair done every 6 weeks, or don't have to, but enjoy getting your hair done. You enjoy coming in for your haircuts. So we want to continue to be able to service everybody, but we want you to understand at the same time, and I hate to say we, like I'm speaking for everybody, but I kind of am in the way that, we want you to be able to have the best experience, but we also want you to be realistic with the expectations that you're coming in with also.
I agree. I feel like that's an amazing answer. As far as like my favorite and least favorite industry trends, I used to really hate mullets, and now I'm like obsessed with them.
That's awesome.
Just because of like the creativeness and like all the fun colors that people are doing. It's not like, traditional back in the 80s mullets. It's, more creative now. There's more texture, there's more color, there's more like fun stuff to do with it, and it's such a creative style now. Another thing I'm obsessed with is shags. Like, I love doing a shag.
Love a good shag. Love a good shag.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with them. I think they're so much fun. As far as like least favorite industry trends, I would agree with the
The expectation.
the expectations and the
Expectation versus reality.
exactly.
Instagram versus reality. You also have to keep in mind filters when you're looking at pictures too.
What social media does, you can see a 10-hour process in a 10-second video, but like
Right.
you're not realizing the amount of work that goes into it. It's just, oh, I saw Kim Kardashian change her hair, and you don't realize that she spent, hundreds of thousands, maybe thousands of dollars to get her hair done, and she spent maybe 10 hours in the chair. Like, you're not realizing what all goes into it. You're not realizing, you can't go from black box dye to platinum blonde in one session in 2 hours,
Also, a lot of the celebrities that you're showing pictures of wear wigs. So,
yeah, there's a lot of wigs now,
extensions.
and
It's not,
exactly.
Yeah.
So you can't expect the world, but I mean, like, expectations can be high, but you can't expect the world. Like, we're not magicians. We have a paintbrush and a bowl. Like, we don't have. It's not a magic wand.
Exactly. I agree. So I think that's awesome. The only other thing that we have like 2 more. So the next one is the pandemic, which I don't want to get into too much just because I think we have all heard enough about the pandemic, but I just want to like briefly talk about the pandemic. Like, what did you do during the pandemic? What were your reactions to it? Like, how do you feel about it now? Like, let's just touch on it briefly. We don't have to get into like a whole thing.
Yeah, when I first found out that we were going to get shut down, I freaked out to the point where I made myself so overly stressed. And then I slept for the first 2 weeks.
Right.
Like, all I did was eat, sleep, maybe shower, and sleep. Like, that was it. Like, more sleep. All I did was sleep. Literally 2 whole weeks I spent sleeping. Like, I did not focus on literally anything else. I didn't realize how much I needed a vacation and how much I needed more time to myself. Like, you always say, like, oh, I just want to sleep for 3 days. Like, I literally slept for 2 weeks.
Yikes, yeah.
It was a lot. I pretty much felt like I was in a coma when I woke up.
Where am I?
And then I was like, okay, cool, now what do I do? Because, like, I know everyone else, like, I saw on social media, they're like, oh, I was drinking and like this, that, and the other. And I was like, I did not do that.
There's a lot of partying going on during the pandemic.
I did, however, get drunk in my sink.
Oh, that's
a few
cool.
times.
Drunk in your sink?
Yeah, I have a double sink in my bathroom, and I sat in the middle and I put my feet in one sink, and I just I have the one wall is a whole mirror, and then the other wall is like just a section of it is a mirror, so you can see yourself in all different ways. So I'm like literally sitting there on TikTok
really
talking
intrigued.
to myself. I have a TikTok. There's TikTok videos. It's not that funny. It's just me chatting to myself in my mirror with a beer. It's all it is. So I did a lot of TikTok. I did a lot of crocheting. I did a lot of watching movies. I did a lot of like hair education, and then figuring out the pandemic insurance, the help from the pandemic and stuff like that. I don't know words right now. Don't come for me with
I
my
was trying to
English.
help you out there, but I was like, my brain like totally went flat for a minute. How long? How what?
Yeah, with like the trying to find out the stimulus, trying to find out
The stimulus, right? The assistance, the pandemic assistance.
I was right. Okay, cool.
Words.
Words. I don't know English right now. It's fine. But like trying to figure all that out, and like we're in Florida, so Florida's state I feel like is pretty messed up with like the way that they were handling it, and we're independent contractors, so trying to figure out for a long time, it wasn't that if you were independent contractor and you lost your job, you can't claim unemployment. So then trying to navigate unemployment on top of that, the Florida system was not able to handle the overwhelming flow of people applying. And it was just a lot of like 1 week they're saying that it's accepting people who are independent contractors, freelance, stuff like that, but then they're not when you go on the website. So then you have to wait 3 more weeks for them to actually put it into practice. So you're not getting paid for all of these weeks, and you can't even claim it because it's not even
a thing yet.
So, being out of work for 2 whole months and then trying to get back into it, and you're still struggling with like all of the, all the new things that you have to do, and it was like definitely learning curve for a lot of people. Now I feel like things have calmed down a little bit, but are not like, it's still very serious. It's still very We're still very careful and sanitary about everything. I feel like it's not as overwhelming because we're a little more used to like the process of everything.
It's kind of become like the new normal now, like
Yeah,
wearing
the new
masks
normal.
everywhere. Florida's been, I don't want to say lucky because that sounds like a really awful thing to say like during all this time, but we haven't shut down again like a lot of places have shut down. So we had the shutdown I think until the end of May, and then after that happened and it lifted, we've been able to work ever since. So, I mean, we did have a much slower season than normal, but we are able to work. And I pretty much had the same experience as you. For me, I'm a really social person. My boyfriend is not as social, so like he's totally cool, like just hanging out at home, working from home. Like he was able to work from home, so it was awesome.
Yeah.
But he was working from home, and I just sort of struggled with the social aspect of it. I'm a very social person. I love my clients. I love going to work. So we both, you know, he was fine, and I was going a little crazy. So I had to get into painting and, you know, figure out something to. You know, I needed a creative outlet. Luckily, I was able to get assistance with the SBA, the Student Business, the Small Business Association. I was able to get like a small grant with them, and then I was able to get unemployment assistance as well for a little while, just for a little while. I didn't get it for very long. And so luckily I was okay. I could say that a lot of my friends, you know, probably struggled a lot harder than I did, but you know, now we're all back to work. So I think that things are starting to, you know, hopefully with the vaccine and everything, I don't even know if I could talk about this, so maybe I shouldn't, but hopefully everything will be getting back to normal soon. That's
hopefully. I'm very fortunate that we can be able to work and be in a salon and be able to do the things that we're doing, because I don't know how it would be if you know, if we were still in lockdown like that. Those weeks that we were in lockdown were very hard for me because I'm a single girl. I live alone. Where I have 2 cats. I got a second cat during the pandemic. Like, who does that? But like it was definitely very hard to like not be able to go places and see people and like go do things. Like, you can't go out to a restaurant and just be like, you know, shoulder to shoulder at the bar trying to order a drink or get some food. Like, it's not the same now. So
I know I see videos like of like, or watch movies of people at concerts or like at clubs, and you're like, man, that's so weird. Like, that's not.
I was watching a random old movie the other day, and they weren't wearing masks, and I was like, that's weird. But it's like an old movie.
Oh,
and
nobody wears masks in the movie.
No, I know, but I'm saying like
it's weird, right?
So like you don't.
It's
the way that they've trained our minds right now to see everybody with masks. It's just weird to like watch a movie sometimes and,
for sure,
and see that they're being filmed without it.
And I almost thought for a while that the makeup industry was gone, because I figured, like, how are we supposed to do makeup on people if they have to wear a mask and we have to wear a mask? I mean, obviously, I still wear a mask in front of my clients doing makeup, but the clients don't wear a mask while I'm doing their makeup. So it seemed very tricky at the beginning. We almost thought that, like, makeup wasn't going to be a thing at all anymore. So a lot of my friends were super nervous. I was super nervous. You know, I got lucky in the way that, you know, I had the salon, everything like that, just starting to kick off. But, you know, that kind of will lead into the next thing, or the last thing really that we have written down, which is like a message to anyone getting started in this industry. Especially right now. I think now is the time for change. Now is the time for movement. I think one thing that this has taught us is there's no better time but today. I love the movie Rent. So like I have tattooed on my leg, no day but today. And I think that sometimes I forget that, but it's super important to remember that, because if you want to do something and you have it in your head, like, I really want to do this, you have to take the dive. You have to take the dive to do it. Start putting things into motion, networking with people that are in the industry, start asking questions. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Like, we're more than happy to, I know I'm more than happy to answer questions. I'm sure Kacy is too.
Of course.
We want to help you guys. We want to guide you. I had so many mentors in the industry when I first started.
Me too.
I can name a few right now just to give them a quick little shout out. I already said Michelle. I said Leela, my friend Janice, who worked for Mac for a long time. So much guidance on that. I mean, I have so many people in my life who have given me such strong guidance in this industry, and without them, I don't know where I'd be. So the only thing I could say to you guys is figure out where you want to be in life. If it's not hair or makeup, you know, figure out what specific industry you want to go in. find some mentors that are willing to help you out. There's lots of educational tools now. YouTube, use it. Like, use the internet, use Google. Like, there's so many ways to find out information now. Just make sure that you're not getting all your information from one place. You want to...
Different sources.
Yeah, you want to be versatile. You want to switch it up. It's hard to know, like, what's real and what's not right now. So you want to make sure that you're making your own informed opinion. You want to make sure, if you're getting into our industry, that you're very professional. You want to treat it like a business. You don't want to treat it like I'm just a makeup artist or a hairstylist. You want to really treat it like a business, which means, maybe getting your LLC, depending on where you live, getting a business license, or, getting insured. There's so many different things that you could do.
Savings account.
Yeah, savings account, business account. You want to make sure that you're getting a website, that you have your Instagram on point, and you want to make sure the biggest thing that I'm sure everybody knows already right now with social media is you don't want to put a bunch of hoo-ha on your social media of you, especially, like, I don't want to say this as a woman, because I think you could put whatever you want on social media. I'm definitely not as conservative, as a lot of people sometimes. Like, my older posts were definitely, questionable sometimes, just because, you want to post yourself, you want to post your body, you want to show yourself off, but you also want to keep it classy to the point where, like, people aren't going to be turned off. Like, you want the women and the men to want to be you, or to want to get their hair done by you, or to want to look like you, but you don't want them to look at you and be like, because at the end of the day, everyone's a little judgmental, so you don't want them to look at you and think that you're not professional, and that's the image that you want to give off. I think one of the biggest pieces of advice that I could give that I learned from Mac is dress for the job that you want. If you want to be a hairstylist, or you want to be a boss, or you want to be that, you have to dress that way. Create your own style, create your own technique. I think it's important to follow artists on Instagram and TikTok and these platforms, and to emulate them, but you also want to create your own style. You want to find your own niche. You don't want to be
from them. Don't try to be them.
You don't want to be, you want to find your specialty too. Like, a lot of people have a specialty. Like, for her, it's fantasy colors, and she loves transformations. For me, I would say it's hair and makeup styling. You want to find a specialty. You want to find a place where you're going to thrive really hard, and that's what you promote the most. Now, you could do other things. You could do plenty of other things, but you also want to make sure that you have your specialty. You want to put time into your education. I know a lot of fellow artists of mine are not licensed, but they do have really great training. So I highly recommend getting licensed, because it's worth getting licensed. You get a ton of education. You also get a license. So you can do a lot of things with a license.
You can do more with a license than you can with just training.
Right. So you want to
make more opportunities.
Right. You want to do continuing education even when you get your license. You want to continue to go to classes and continue to educate yourself. Practice on mannequins. Practice on people. Like I said earlier, practice on your friends, your grandma. Like, who cares? Practice on everybody.
Everybody you can get your hands on. Practice.
Yeah, for sure.
Practice.
And you have to have a clean kit. Make sure that your kit and your products are clean. They're professional. You don't want to use, like, drugstore brands. I see a lot of people doing that. I made a post about that on Instagram not too long ago. I think that if you can get away with certain things in your kit that are, a little bit less expensive, I think that's fine. But if you want to shoot for high-end clientele, if you really want to make the big bucks, make sure you invest in yourself, which is in your business. Invest in your kit. Make sure that you're networking yourself and, meeting people in your industry and meeting clients. And just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to fail, because you're going to fail a little bit. You're going to hear no a lot, and that's okay. Just keep on going.
Another message I would give to people is make sure you save. Because when you get into a random situation like this, where we're in this pandemic and you have no money, like, you're kind of down in the dumps emotionally as well as, financially, and you can't pay your bills and everything. So just try to say, like, not that this is going to happen or stay forever, but you just have to save as much as you possibly can, because it's also your retirement too, like, you can't just, you don't want to be working when you're 90, still trying to pay your bills and make ends meet. So you want to make sure that you can get everything set up for yourself in the future. Set yourself up for success. Don't set yourself up for failure. Another thing is, like she said earlier, take the leap. If you feel stuck, or you feel stagnant, or you feel comfortable, don't let yourself feel comfortable. Take the leap. Find something that inspires you. Find something that you want to be around, you want to enjoy. Don't let yourself get too closed off to learning and to experiencing new things in your industry, whether it's hair or not, hair, makeup, or God knows what. You want to make sure that you surround yourself with the people you want to be like. That's a big thing for me. In the industry, you can surround yourself with people who are, sometimes salons are catty, sometimes salons are, a little bit negative, and they don't really grow, they don't progress. You want something that's going to grow and grow with you, and you grow with it as well. As far as other things is, like she said, find a mentor, find someone who's going to help you, who's going to help you want to grow and teach you everything they know. I've actually had a mentor, and then I've mentored a few people. Just being, in a salon where you have a lot of people around you. It's very rewarding on both ends of it to be mentored, because you learn so much from them. And then to mentor people, you're still learning from them. Like, they're learning from you and you're learning from them. So it's a give and take.
Exactly.
So I'm sure that there's things that, everybody has time to learn and to grow, and you need to keep learning and growing. So if you feel like you're stuck, find somewhere that you want to go that's new. Find something that you want to do that's new, because feeling stuck and stagnant and just too comfortable is not a good thing.
Totally.
You don't want to feel those, not so great emotions.
And the last thing I want to add is comparison. I think that
Yes.
that could be a huge,
So bad at it.
huge, monster in this industry, because so many of us will look to Instagram or look to people that we idolize, and we'll be like, well, why aren't we as good? Why can't I do a hair color like that? Or why can't I do a makeup like that? I think, I'm guilty of it. I do it all the time. I probably
Same.
do it a few times a week. But you have to, so I'm telling myself this as I'm telling you guys this, you have to really put yourself in the mindset that, you can be wherever you want to be. You're your biggest competition. No one else is your competition.
Exactly.
You can learn whatever you want to learn. You just have to be able to put the effort and the energy and the education behind it. Exactly.
You have to hustle for it. You have to really want it, and you have to know how much you really want it, because you can want something like a new pair of shoes, but if you have to physically get up and, go on your phone and buy the pair of shoes, or go to the store and buy the pair of shoes, you have to actually do that. So that's just a random miscellaneous example, but so you have to put in the effort to do it. You can't just say, oh, I want those shoes, and then expect them to appear in your face. Like, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
So, I mean, I understand with Amazon and things like that, it's a little easier, but you still have to pay for it. You still have to put in the energy to look for the shoes and find them and purchase them at a good price and stuff like that. So you have to take into consideration all of these other things.
I agree. I think that's pretty solid. Do you have anything else to add on that aspect?
I feel like I did, but I don't remember.
Okay.
Do you?
We can always, I think I covered it. I think I covered anything. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll always answer anything. Oh man, that's awesome. So I think that this is really fun, and I'm really glad that if anybody made it to the end of this video, we are super honored to be able to do this. This is going to be one of many. We have literally a list of things that we want to do for you guys. If you have any suggestions of videos that you'd like to see as far as educational, tutorial, day-to-day life stuff, I mean, we don't really want to make this into a vlog YouTube, but if there's specific things that you guys want to see, please drop that in the comments. I just want to plug a couple things first. First, I want to really give a lot of love to Steve on the internet, my friend Steve, who has done tons of work for us at this point. He's done a lot of our photo shoots that you've seen. If you've seen our website, blondiesbeautysalon.com, he's done a lot of the beautiful work on there. He comes in and just hangs out with us for the day, and we really have a lot of fun with it. We'll be doing a lot more of those. If you guys want to, if you're interested in modeling for us, you can reach out to us as well, because we're always doing new merchandise shoots. We just got in our brand new merch, so we have crop tops, which I know you can't see the whole thing, but this is what they look like. We also have the Blondies hoodies. We have tank tops, and we have regular t-shirts. We have our Blondies Beauty Salon's mugs. Blondies Beauty Salon. I can speak English at this point.
These mugs are awesome.
They're really awesome. We have hats, which I don't have them available for you to see, but you can check them out on the Instagram. We also have fanny packs. And I think that's it. As far as
stickers.
We have stickers. We have lots of stickers.
Stickers are fun.
If you guys are interested in prices or anything like that, eventually we're gonna have an online store, but right now we don't. So you can just come into our DMs and ask us about pricing or come in to pick anything up. A few other things that we have going on. We also have a mini thrift in the salon, which is really cool. We have a bunch of clothes here. What we do is take an item, leave an item. So you can bring an item and then take an item from the rack, or if you don't bring anything, then you can take an item from the rack and we ask that you donate $10 to Kids in Distress, which if you don't know about them, they're a local charity in the community that works a lot with young kids who have parents with addiction issues and abandonment and things like that. If you want to go check out their website and get more information on them, you definitely can. We plan on doing more things with them in the future. We tried to organize a haircut day for them, but unfortunately I think with the pandemic it just didn't pan out. So we're going to plan another one in the future, so you guys can stay tuned for that. I want to give a really special thanks to my boyfriend Nick, who has built our beautiful website. If you guys need any website work, please go check out our website, blondiesbeautysalon.com. You'll see our amazing website. It's gorgeous and I'm in love with it, and every time I show someone, I'm just super proud of him and the work that he put into that.
It's a beautiful website.
Yeah, he's put in a lot of work for us too. I would shout out some of our contractors, but they don't have social media. I have a great handyman if you guys need one. He's
wonderful.
He's not just a handyman, but he also built our custom sign up here that lights up. So that's really cool. I'm super excited about that. All the art that you see behind us, we get on Etsy. We are big supporters of local businesses. I love to support artists. We have a business card holder in the front. If you're a local business and you're one of our clients, you're more than welcome to drop off some cards in the front. Our Instagram and Facebook is blondiesbeautysalon.com, at Blondies Beauty Salon. We also have Pinterest right now at Blondies Beauty Salon. And yes, the website blondiesbeautysalon.com. And I think that's pretty much it. Is there anything I'm missing? I think that's it. So this is going to be a wrap on our first... I think that's it too. It's going to be our wrap on our first video, and I'm really excited for this. It actually went super smooth, and I'm super excited to edit it for you guys, and we'll have it out here soon. And I'm really excited to add in the intro for Maddie. So thank you so much for that, and we will see you guys on next episode. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the like button so we know that you guys like us.
Where is the button? Is it down here?
Yeah, it's down there. I think it's down there too.
Is it? I'm not sure.
All right, guys, I'm Dee.
Kacy.
And we will talk to you later. Have an awesome day.
Bye.